So once you're ready, find your comfortable seat to lay down and we will meet up and get started there. Once you find your cozy resting position, gently draw your eyes closed. And we'll take the next couple of moments to allow ourselves to arrive here and now. Allow yourself to simply observe how you feel in this moment. So take note of how your body feels. And maybe become aware of your emotional, your energetic state. Take a couple moments to simply feel into the mind and the headspace. Just allow yourself to get acquainted with your body, mind, emotional well-being. Allowing yourself to just be as you are, but become aware. Begin to relax your body fully towards the ground beneath you. So soften the back of the head, relax the shoulders, the back body. Soften the hips, the legs, and the feet. Relax your face by softening your forehead, your eyes, the temples and cheekbones. Soften the jaw, the mouth. Relax the neck, the chest and belly. Allow the arms to rest effortlessly by your sides. And gently bring your awareness to the chest and the belly. Can you feel the inhales allow the body to rise up? Can you notice how the exhales gently soften the body? So bringing your awareness again to the chest and the belly, and notice how the breath causes the body to move. On the inhales, the chest and bellies lifts up. And on the exhales, the belly and chest lowers. Allow your awareness to rest easy on this wave-like motion in the chest and the belly as you breathe in and out. Notice the subtle flow and the feeling as the body breathes itself. And allow this sensation to be the object of your awareness, your central focus. So everything else that's on your mind, allow it to begin to slowly fade to the background. All those internal and external distractions, let them just melt away. And continue to feel the chest, the belly lift and lower like waves of an ocean flowing in and out. And as you're here with your breath, the mind will inevitably think, and that's okay. That's the job of its mind. We're not here to stop it. We're simply here to be with it. So just as the chest and belly rise and fall, allow the thoughts to come into your awareness and drift away. Be a witness to everything going on within your body. Let go of any sorts of attachment to any thoughts. And again, just like the breath flowing in and out, allow the thoughts as well to flow in and out of your mind. And at every point, refocusing your awareness simply on the feeling of the breath in the body. Be with your breath for a couple more rounds of inhales and exhales. Again, simply feeling into the chest and belly with every wave of the breath. If you'd like to stay here simply being with the breath in the body, feel free to stay here for as long as you'd like. Tonight's practice is all about finding what feels good for you and connecting with your inner self. So anything that I propose along the way is simply just a suggestion. Ultimately, find what feels good for you and flow accordingly. If at any point you want to rest or do whatever feels good, again, this is your practice, so honor your body. If and when you are ready to move, follow an inhale to reach your hands up overhead, stretching towards the back of your room, and then pull the feet towards the front of your room. Give yourself a nice full body stretch. And on an exhale, gently hug the knees in towards you. Wrap your arms around the legs and give yourself a nice hug. If you'd like, you can gently rock side to side, massaging the back body. You can also stay perfectly still, so find what works for you tonight. As you're here, keep your awareness inward, so feel what's going on in the body. Reconnect with the breath if you've lost that connection. Relax the jaw and soften the shoulders. Breathe deeply. We will eventually make our way to seated, so your choice. You can either roll over to one side and press yourself up, or begin to rock up and down the length of your mat until you arrive in a seated posture. Again, find the mode that serves your body this evening. And whenever you get to that seated position, swing those legs behind you. We're going to go to tabletop position. So hands and knees, tabletop position, move slowly, avoiding any sorts of head rush. Once you get there, big toes touch, knees spread wide, and on an exhale, sink your hips back to the heels and allow your body to drape down, child's pose. Once you get to child's pose, allow yourself to sink into the posture, melting deeply. Breathe through the back body. Send the inhales all the way to the low back. And the exhales, breathe out from the low back through the spine. Relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Soften the hips. This is the first posture of our first flow together, so we'll pause here for a couple more big breaths. Again, find something to feel in your body, whether it's the breath or the strongest sensation you're receiving, and allow that to be your area of focus. Training the mind just like a muscle, when we give ourselves an area of focus, we can notice when the mind wanders. After we practice over time, we hone in this tool. We practice mindfulness and being present. Take one more big breath in this pose. On your next inhale, gently press yourself up, tabletop position, hands and knees. On your exhale, lower your heart down towards the mat. So we're going to go to Chaturanga Dandasana. Your choice, you can either hover off the ground, so keep the chest lifted, or set yourself down completely, whatever feels good for you. On an inhale, pull the heart forward, low cobra, lift up. And exhale, press back through tabletop to child's pose. So sink those hips back to the heels. Pause in child's pose for a breath or two, and we're going to do that same flow again 2 times. One more big breath here. When your next inhale arises, follow your breath to tabletop position. Breathe in. On your exhale, slowly lower yourself down towards the mat. Inhale, drop the hips, low cobra, lift the heart up. And exhale through tabletop back to child's pose. Pause for a couple big breaths in child's pose. So we're really flowing with the breath here, connecting mind to body through the inhales and exhales. Let's do that one more time. So on your next inhale, press on up, tabletop position. Exhale, lowering through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, low cobra, peel the heart up. And exhale through tabletop back to child's pose. Again, we'll pause here for a couple big breaths and just check out. Notice how your body feels after that flow. Keep those shoulders and upper arms soft and relaxed. Breathe through the back, feeling the inhales and exhales. On your next inhale, press on back up, tabletop position, hands and knees. And this time we're going to go to down dog. So curl the toes under, lift the knees up, and on your exhale, press those hips up and back, downward facing dog. As we're here, begin to pedal out the feet, coming up onto those tippy toes, bending the knees, finding any sorts of organic movement that feels good for stretching out the backs of the legs and allowing your head to get used to being below those hips. So take some big breaths here, breathe deeply, and again, find something to place your awareness on, whether it's the feeling in the legs, the breath in the body. Let yourself just be in your body completely. We'll take about one more big breath, moving however it feels good for you. And whenever your next exhale arises, begin to walk your hands back towards the feet. So we're coming to the backs of our mat. If you need to bend the knees to walk those hands back, feel free to do so. Whenever you get to the back, on an inhale, rise up halfway, and then exhale, forward fold. Pausing in the forward fold, and you can find any variation that serves your body and practice tonight. So you can play around with how deep or shallow you bend the knees. Hands can dangle in the air, wrap around opposite elbows, or even hold on to the legs. Wherever you go, allow the crown of the head to pull towards the ground beneath you. So relax the back of the neck completely and soften your jaw. Eyes can be open or closed. You can even add subtle movement, swaying the body side to side or bobbing the head up and down. Reconnect with your breath. Let yourself just be here and now. Couple more big breaths in this pose. Relax, relax, relax. One more full round of breath. And whenever your next inhale arises, if your arms are bound, drop them down, and then walk those hands out in front of you, coming all the way back to plank pose. On an exhale, drop the knees to tabletop and make your way back to child's pose. So sink those hips back to the heels and allow the body to drape towards the ground. Take some big breaths here, noticing how you feel, checking in. And that is our first flow. So I will recap for us. You can either stay as you are and just listen to my voice, or prop your head up to take a peek at the screen. Find whatever works for you. And as always, you can either do anything that feels good for you. You can do some of the practice. You can do all of it. Just find what works in your body right now. So as a recap, we started this flow in child's pose. We held for however long you want to be here for, and then we moved through our chaturanga flow. So we found an inhale to come on up to tabletop position, hands and knees. On the exhale, we lowered the heart towards the ground with the option to either pause or set the body down completely. On the inhale, we came on up to a low cobra, exhaled through tabletop and back to child's pose. We did that 3 times. You can do that as many times as feels good for you. After that, we paused in child's pose for a couple moments and then made our way to down dog. So we came on up, curl those toes under, pressed it on back, and held downward facing dog. Your choice if you want to add movement or simply hold the pose, really working into the backs of the legs. Eventually, we walked those hands back and made our way to a forward fold, hanging however you'd like. So you can find the variation that serves your body right now. Whenever you're done with the forward fold, we walked those hands back out on an inhale. We set those knees down and made our way back to child's pose on the exhale. So that was our first flow. Again, just as a recap, we started the flow in child's pose, and then we moved through the chaturanga. So chaturanga, low cobra to child's pose. We did that a couple times. From there, it was down dog and the forward fold. So feel free to move through that if you'd like. You can do all, none, or some of it, but I will be here to guide your awareness. So find what works for you right now. As you find your way through whatever postures you are working on, continue to find the flow, the wave-like motion of not only the breath in the body, but in your movements, as you flow in and out of postures, or even as you hold a pose. Can you soften into the organic, the natural wave-like motion of moving? Maybe softening your movements or softening your body in whatever pose you're in. Allowing yourself to yet again feel the breath, the wave within as you breathe in and out. Allowing any thoughts or distractions to take on this flowing or wave-like nature as well. As the internal or external distractions come inwards, let go of any attachment to them and simply, just like an exhale, allow them to flow back out. Almost as though you're simply watching the passing of the breath, of the thoughts, of any distractions. Let go of attachment and simply be an observer. Just like the breath, as the inhales flow in and the exhales flow out. Allow all that internal and external noise to flow in and naturally flow out. Let go of any sort of need to analyze, to think through. Just let everything be as it is. In every pose and every shape you make with your body, give your mind something to focus on. Either feel the breath in the body as you breathe in and out, or allow yourself to sink into and feel the strongest sensation you're receiving in the body. Give your mind something to focus on, something that's real, that's happening here and now. When we give our mind such an anchor, it becomes easier to become a witness, to notice everything that's happening within and around us. When we become aware of all that stuff, we can find our way back to our anchor, the breath, the feeling of the body. Breathe deeply, flow with the inhales and exhales. And whenever you complete this initial flow, feel free to continue to either move in ways that feel good for you or find a resting pose, but wherever you go, stay with the breath, stay with the body. Whenever you do complete your first set of postures, take a couple moments to simply observe how you're feeling. Notice the mind, the body, your emotional well-being. Simply become aware. Just observe. As we're here and we practice, we get to know ourselves a little bit better. We can enter the world with a bit more awareness of ourselves, of our surroundings. So get to know yourself a little bit more. For our next flow, we'll eventually meet up in child's pose. So your choice if you want to move forward. If you do, maybe eventually make your way there. Feel free to take any other postures on your way, but we'll eventually meet up in a nice child's pose. And once you get there, take a big breath or two. Maybe you even make it a cleansing breath by breathing in through the nostrils deeply and exhaling, making a ha sound as you breathe out, just letting anything on your mind weighing on you go. So breathing in deeply and exhaling, releasing. Whenever your next inhale arises, find your way to tabletop position, hands and knees. On an exhale, curl the toes under, press your hips up and back, down dog. Take a big breath or two in your downward facing dog. Breathe deeply. And whenever your next inhale arises, begin to walk your feet all the way up to your hands. Tippy-toeing those feet up. If you need to bend the knees to get there, feel free to do so. Rise up halfway whenever you get to the top of your mat, and on your exhale, fold to the feet. On your inhale, bend the knees, and as slow as you can, roll on up, stacking every vertebra one at a time. Rising up, head and shoulders are the last to lift, and when you get to the top, exhale, roll the shoulders down the back body. Take a big breath as you're standing now, just allowing the head to get used to being above the hips and the ankles. And we're going to move to a balancing flow next. So make sure those feet are hips distance, all 10 toes pointing on forward, and then shift your weight over toward the left-hand side. So the right foot will begin to get light. You can swing it if you'd like, or simply just get used to tapping the toes on the ground. Couple options. For the first posture, you can either hold underneath the thigh, hold in front of the shin, or simply work on your balance by lifting, tapping the toes up off the ground. So whatever works in your body today, go there. Find somewhere to look in front of you that's not going to move. That'll help with your balance. And we'll pause here, breathing deeply for a couple big breaths. And allow yourself to simply be in the body as you balance. If you notice that your mind is more on staying standing rather than the breath, then lower yourself down a little bit. We're focusing on the breath here, so go to where that works for you. Take about one more big breath in your pose on this side. And then on your exhale, without setting the foot down, can you lower and then try to grab the foot behind you? So you can grab a hold of the foot with one hand, other hand can come to the hips or just down by your side. And again, find where this works for you. If it's too much to have the foot in the hand, that is a-okay. You can work on, again, just lifting the toes up off the ground behind you. Find where your body wants to be today. If it feels okay to have the foot in the hand, then press that right hip forward as you press the right knee down towards the ground. You'll instantly feel a stretch on the front of your right thigh, and that's what we're going for. Again, couple big breaths here. Breathe deeply, pull the low belly in towards the spine as the crown of the head reaches up. One more big breath. On your exhale, set the foot down. We're going to do the same flow on the other side now. So inhale, lift that left foot up, find your balance on the right foot, and then find where this works for you. So again, either tapping the toes, holding under the thigh, or in front of the shin. Breathe deeply wherever you go, and have your primary focus on the breath rather than trying to balance in the pose. So go to where you can focus on the breath rather than swaying all around. About 2 more big breaths here. One more. And then from here again, try to stay balanced. Can you grab your foot now behind you? As you do so, again, if you're working towards the deeper version, you're going to press the knee down and then press that left hip forward as you hug or hold that ankle towards your left booty. So pause here for a couple of big breaths. Breathe deeply. Relax the jaw. Find somewhere to look on the ground ahead of you. About 2 more big breaths here. 1 more. And on your exhale, slowly set the foot back down. We're going to go to balancing on that left side now, so shift the weight back over to the left, hands on your hips this time, and your choice. We're going to either keep the leg lifted without holding underneath, or potentially work towards straightening the toes out in front of you. So find what works in your body. As you're here, try to resist leaning backwards, but keep those shoulders stacked over the hips, using the strength of our quadricep muscle. Breathe deeply. If your foot is straight, take a look at your big toe. Let's take 2 more big breaths. 1 more. Exhale, set the foot down. From here, we're going to lift behind now. So on your inhale, lift that right foot up behind you, so you're going to feel that right glute working. And again, this time, rather than leaning forward, try your best to keep those shoulders stacked over the hips. Low belly sucks in, and breathe here. Couple more big breaths. Let's take 1 more. Great job. Exhale, set that foot down. Doing a great job. Same thing other side, so find your balance on your right foot now. When you're ready, you can either simply just lift the knee up or work towards straightening those toes out in front of you. So find what works for you. Keep those shoulders stacked over the hips. Low belly pulls in and up. Again, if your foot is straight, take a look at your big toe and try to keep your gaze there. Breathe deeply. Make sure you're breathing. Relax the jaw. 1 more big breath. And exhale, set the foot down. We're going straight to behind us. So on your next inhale, swing that leg behind you. Keep the shoulders over the hips. Low belly pulls in and up. That left glute is working now. Notice here we're not spinning the hip out open. We're keeping the hip pointing down towards the mat and really just working that glute muscle to stay lifted. 2 more big breaths. 1 more. And exhale, set the foot down. We're going to go to a forward fold next. Stretch out those legs. So inhale, hands reach up, palms touch. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, rise up halfway, pull the heart forward. And exhale, find any sort of forward fold that feels good in your body. So we're working on stretching the backs of the legs. So you can add a bend to the knees and begin to straighten them. And when you find you get that nice stretch, pause there. Breathe deeply, allow the crown of the head to work its way towards the ground beneath you, relaxing the back of the neck. Imagine sending the inhales all the way along the backs of your legs, and exhaling from the same area. A couple more big breaths. Feel the breath in the body. Notice how you're feeling right now. Great job. On your next inhale, rise up halfway, pull the heart forward, pause here and exhale fully. And then on your next inhale, bend the knees and slowly roll yourself on up, 1 vertebra at a time. Exhale, roll the shoulders down the back body. We're going to do the lift of each leg 1 more time, just lifting forward. So when you're ready, send your weight over to that left foot, hands on the hips. And once you feel ready, again, either with the bent knee you stay lifted or point those toes out in front of you. Pause for a couple big breaths here. Breathe deeply. You got it. Should feel that thigh burning. 1 more big breath. Exhale, set it down. Going straight to the other side, send the weight over to the right foot. Left foot gets light. Again, either bend that knee, straighten the toes out. Drop that left hip down towards the mat beneath you rather than lifting out to the side. Couple more big breaths. You got it. Let's take 2 more. 1 more breath. On your exhale, slowly, consciously lower that foot down. And we'll land into Tadasana. So bring those palms to touch at heart center. Gently draw the eyes closed. Crown of the head reaches up towards the ceiling. Back is nice and tall. Take a couple big breaths and simply observe how you feel. Maybe you notice some heat to the working in the thighs, slight increase in the heart rate. Just let yourself be in your body. Feel the wave again of those inhales and exhales along the belly, the chest. Be with yourself in your body. As you're here, you can simply listen to my voice as I recap for you or take a peek at the screen. If you want to do all, none, or some of that, listen to your body, find what feels good for you this evening. If you want to move forward with this flow, we started this flow with the balancing and holding the legs. So of course we started either with the toes on the ground, hugging the knee in, or holding under the thigh. So whatever worked for you, pause for however long you like, and then we tried to balance and then grab the foot behind us. So we did that on each side, and then once we did each side, we moved to balancing without holding with the hands. So hands on the hips. We first started with the foot out in front of us, and then we brought the foot behind us, using the strength of the glute to keep that leg lifted. Again, did that on each side, and then we came forward to that forward fold to really give our legs a bit of a release there. We came on back up, and then we lifted one more time only in that forward direction. So we found our balance either with that knee bent, straightening the toes out in front of you, did that on each side for however long you'd like, and landed in Tadasana. So simply mountain pose, standing and connecting with the body and the breath. So again, it was hugging the knee in, to holding behind on each side, and then lifting forward, lifting back on each side to the forward fold, came on back up and simply lifted forward on each side, and then landed in Tadasana. So find what works for you. I'll be here to guide your awareness. Take some time, have fun with this flow if you are working through it, and then we'll meet up for our final flow of class. And as you flow through balancing postures, it can be very easy to get frustrated. So again, find that light, easy, smiling type nature. Really try to meet yourself where you're at today. So our primary focus is staying connected with the breath. So find those postures where you can stay connected with the breath fully rather than focusing on staying balanced. It's when we meet ourselves where we're at today that we gain the strength, the flexibility, and over time, that control to really hold those postures. So find where you're at today by connecting with the breath. Become very aware of your body as you move through these postures. Noticing if you tend to allow tension to translate up the body as you work through these balancing poses. So relax those shoulders, soften the jaw, relax your gaze. Allow the work to stay within the legs and the core rather than traveling up the body. Find a softness and ease as you flow and work through these poses. Be conscious of the movements within your body. Continue to find that wave-like motion of the breath within and of the flow of your practice. So whether you stay balanced or go in and out of postures, that's totally fine. Again, just like the breath flowing in and out, allow the thoughts, any distractions, internal or external, or even the balancing in the poses to find that wave-like nature of flowing in, flowing out, and just letting that be. Being with what is right now, where your body is, where your mind is, and where your practice is. almost like floating on water, allowing the waves to gently lift and lower your body. Approaching your practice with a similar nature of just allowing whatever is to flow, to happen, to lift and lower, to expand, to contract, to fall in, to fall out, to pass through. Just let everything be and be a witness. And then whatever pose you're in, continue to connect back to your anchor, the feeling of the breath in the body, the strongest sensation you're receiving in any shape you're making. When we allow our minds to rest on a present moment activity, the mind softens and relaxes. In turn, the body relaxes. So find that present moment activity to link your mind to, taking your body, your mind out of a fight or flight or stressed response and allowing it to relax, to be here and now. Breathe deeply and enjoy the postures in your body. Whenever you decide that your flow is complete, feel free to either continue to move in any postures or shapes that feel good for you or wherever your body wants to go. Or you can simply make your way to any sort of resting posture. You have all the time you need, so keep flowing if you want to keep flowing, but if you are wrapping up, find somewhere where you could still stay connected with the breath and the body. For our final flow of class, we'll eventually all meet up in child's pose. If you want to continue to flow or do whatever feels good for you, please continue to honor your body and where you want to be this evening. If you do want to move forward with me, we'll all meet up in a nice child's pose. So take your time. If there's a couple more stretches or postures you want to take on your way, feel free to do so. Just find what works for you tonight. And if you are meeting up with me in child's pose, once you get there, take a couple moments to, yet again, simply observe your body, your mind. Maybe noticing any thoughts or themes to your practice this evening. If there's anything continually popping up within the mind, just noting, becoming aware. Check in with your emotional well-being as well. So let yourself simply be in your body. To observe the goodness of being alive by feeling your emotions, by feeling the body, by letting yourself just be in the mind. If you'd like, maybe introducing those cleansing breaths again, inhaling deeply through the nose and exhaling, and just letting it all go. And whenever your next inhale arises, gently walk your hands back towards you until you're sitting up on the heels. Exhale once you get there. And then inhale, lift those hips on up and stack them over your knees. We're going to move through some work in Ustrasana, camel pose next. Once you get there, curl the toes under behind you and then reach those hands out in front of you. So our goal with camel pose is to keep the hips over the knees. So rather than leaning back when we flow, we work our glutes, squeeze them, and keep those hips pressing forward. So that's the motion we're going for. So big inhale once those hands are out in front of you, and on your next exhale, reach only your right hand back, maybe tapping the right heel, maybe not, that's okay. Inhale and bring it forward. We're going to stay on the same side, so on your exhale, reach it on back. Again, hips press forward. Inhale, come back. Exhale, reach it back. Inhale, forward. Going straight to the other side. Exhale, left hand towards the left foot. Inhale, come on up. 2 more. Exhale, reach it back. Follow the pace of your own breath. Inhale, up. 1 more. Exhale, reach it back. Inhale, come on up. On the exhale, sit back on the heels. Your choice. If you want to keep the toes curled under, that'll increase the stretch on the arches of the feet, or you can always uncurl and just sit back on the ankles, on the heels, whatever feels good. But as you're here, pull the low belly in towards the spine. You'll feel a little space come to the low back when you do so, just introducing a tiny, tiny counter stretch as we're here. Take a big breath or 2. Great job. On your next inhale, come on up, back to those knees, curl the toes under, beneath you, exhale. This time bring the hands to the hips. So as we're here, our goal is to squeeze the elbows towards each other rather than letting them come out by the sides. So your choice. Hands can be on the hips with the thumbs pressing in towards the low back, or you can allow the fingertips to point downwards and you press the heels of the hands into the low back. Really just find what works good for your wrists and hands. Once you get there, on your next inhale, pull the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, lengthening the spine, and then exhale, begin to tip it on back. So squeeze the glutes, hips press towards the front of the room, elbows squeeze towards each other. You can look up towards the ceiling, imagining as though you're trying to hold a grapefruit between your chin and neck. If you want, you can release and allow the gaze to go towards the back of the room. So find what works in your body, breathe deeply, relax your jaw. Let's take 2 more breaths. Keep squeezing those elbows towards each other. 1 more big breath. Inhale, come back up. We're going to stay lifted, so breathe. If you want to relax the hands by your sides, feel free to do so. Notice how you're feeling. Keep that low belly pulling in towards the spine, supporting the back body. You're doing an awesome job. We're going to do that 1 more time. So when you're ready, bring those hands back to the hips, whichever way felt good for you. Exhale. Inhale, crown of the head reaches up, and when you're ready, exhale, begin to peel on back. So you're pulling the heart towards the ceiling, pressing those hips forward. Gaze goes up or towards the wall behind you. Breathe deeply as those elbows squeeze towards each other. A couple more big breaths here. You got it. Full breaths. 2 more. 1 more. And on a very big inhale, gently peel yourself back up. And this time, exhale, uncurl the toes and sink those hips back towards the heels. Hands come to the thighs. Eyes can be open or closed, but we'll rest here for a couple moments. Once you feel the low back beginning to neutralize, engage Mula Bandha, so low belly pulls in and up, again creating some space in the low back. Imagine the inhales traveling down your spine to the low back, expanding that space, and the exhales releasing from the low back up the spine, releasing any tension. Breathe deeply. So that is our last flow of class. I'll do a little recap for you if you want to try those back bends again. We started this flow with the toes curled under and doing our reach back. So hands were in front of us on an inhale, and then exhale, we reached back. Inhaled up. We did 3 on each side, but you can do as many as you'd like. From there, we rested, either with the toes curled under or flat on the ground. Low belly pulled into the spine just to gain some length in the low back. From there we came on up and then did 2 versions of Ustrasana. So hands on the hips, we inhaled up, elbows squeezed into the center towards the back body, and then exhaled to reach it on back. Paused here, came on up, and then we didn't sit down, and then we did that again. So Ustrasana, camel pose, one more time, came back, and then we sat back onto the heels. Paused here for however long you'd like. Breathing deeply. If you move forward with any more back bends, then you're going to keep flowing, and whenever you're complete with all your back bends, please find your way to a nice, gentle child's pose to bring in lots of space to the low back. So again, it was the touchbacks to the heels. We did 3 on each side. You can do as many as you'd like. From there, we rested, and then came up and did 2 Ustrasana camel poses, resting by staying standing on our knees in between the 2 of them. So find what works for you. You can, again, do all none or some of that. Only when you're done with your back bends, find that nice child's pose. Continue to flow with your breath and make sure you're breathing, especially when you lean back into camel pose. Sometimes we can have the tendency to hold our breath, so make sure you allow the breath to naturally continue to flow in and out in that posture. And as you approach these back bends, keeping with the theme of our class, can you find that wave-like nature? So allowing the breath to flow in and out of your body as you flow through these postures, but also finding a softness within the body as you reach back and come forward. Sometimes, especially when we work into the spine, we can tend to get very stiff and close up the breath, so allow yourself to flow naturally, to find that wave-like nature, and also be gentle to yourself with the mind. So go to where your body wants to be today. Be soft and easy with yourself. Continuously allowing everything to simply flow in and out of your awareness, allowing yourself to be with what is right now. Whenever your awareness trails away, notice where it goes. And when you're ready, reconnect with that present moment activity of feeling the breath in the body, or simply the strongest sensation you're feeling right now. Feel the goodness of the poses within, and allow yourself to receive the gift of the present moment and the gifts of your practice. If you're still flowing, please take all the time that you need. Just a reminder, whenever you do complete your back bends, please find a nice child's pose, preferably with the knees close together or touching, to really find that release in the low back before moving forward. If you're still flowing, please take all the time that you need, explore whatever poses you want to go to. If you do want to meet up with me for the last couple closing postures of class, I'll meet you in child's pose. So find your way. Again, no need to go there if you're enjoying whatever you're doing right now. But if you want to move forward with me with a couple poses, we'll meet up in that child's pose with the knees close together or touching, and allowing the forehead to sink towards the ground. And if and when you get there, send some big breaths to the low back, feeling the back body expand on the inhales and relax on the exhales. Whenever your next inhale arises, gently walk the hands back towards you until you're sitting all the way up on the heels. And then on your exhale, swing the legs out and around in front of you. We're going to go through a nice, gentle forward fold next. So once those legs are straight, press the knees down towards the mat and pull the toes back towards you. On an inhale, sit up super tall. And then exhale, walk the hands down alongside the legs. Pause there. If this feels deep enough, stay right where you're at. On your next inhale, if you want to go deeper, pull the heart forward and really lengthen the back body. On your exhale, maybe you lower a little bit deeper, elbows work their way towards the mat. Pause wherever it feels good. Really work those legs, press the knees down, pull the toes back towards you. After back bends, sometimes I kind of just like to rock my hips side to side to really find a nice release in the low back. So maybe play around with that if it serves your body. If not, just continue to fold forward. Find your way back to the breath. Eyes can be open or closed. Breathe through the back body. Should feel like a nice release after camel pose. Couple more big breaths. Really using the core, the glutes, to draw the rib cage towards the thighs. One more big breath here. On your next inhale, gently walk the hands back towards you until you're sitting all the way up yet again, and exhale once you get there. Inhale, step your right foot in towards you, foot flat on the ground, knee up towards the ceiling. Exhale, moving into Marichasana twist pose. Inhale, sit up as tall as you can. Exhale, wrap your left arm around your right leg, and then right hand comes behind you like a kickstand. Inhale, sit up even taller, looking towards the side wall, and then exhale, send your gaze behind you. Really press that left knee down, flex the foot, pulling the left toes towards you. And then use the wrapping of that left arm around your right leg to leverage the twist. So breathe deeply here. Low belly pulls in and up. Crown of the head reaches up. Couple more big breaths. Relax your jaw. One more full round of breath here. On your next inhale, look forward. Exhale, unwind, straighten that right leg out. Inhale, step your left foot in towards you. Exhale, once it gets there, foot flat on the ground, knee points up. Inhale, sit up as tall as you can. Exhale, right arm wraps around that left leg. Left hand comes behind you. Inhale, looking towards the side wall. Crown of the head reaches up. And exhale, begin to look behind you. Pause here, a couple big breaths. Keep that right leg active, so press the knee down, pull those toes in towards you. Breathe deeply. Crown of the head reaches up, shoulders pull in opposite directions. Couple more big breaths. Breathe through the back body, the spine. One more full round of breath. And on your next inhale, gently look forward. Exhale, unwind, straighten that left leg out. We're going to lay down next. So when you're ready, inch yourself forward if you need space. Inhale, reach those hands out in front of you, and then exhale, slowly lower yourself on down. Once you get down to the mat, hug those knees in towards you, wrap your arms around the legs, and maybe you add a gentle rock side to side, pressing the low back down as you rock. Maybe you stay perfectly still. Find what works for you tonight. Stay in the body with the breath. From here, if there's any last postures or stretches that you'd like to take, feel free to go wherever it feels good for you. Only when you're ready, make your way to the final resting pose of Shavasana. Again, take your time, honor your body and practice, and give yourself whatever you need. If you're still flowing, please take all the time that you need and only make your way to Shavasana when you're ready. If you found your way to Shavasana, the final resting pose, gently draw your eyes closed and begin to invite in a soft, easy, a relaxed state to your mind, to your body, to the space all around and within you. And begin to soften your body down, starting by relaxing the crown of your head. Soften your forehead, soften your eyebrows, and relax the eyes. Soften your temples and the space between your eyebrows. Relax the cheekbones and soften the jaw. Allow the lips to relax, softening the teeth, and gently float the tongue down away from the roof of your mouth. Relax your ears, soften the back of your head and the scalp. Relax the back of your neck, the sides, the front, allowing the throat to open. Melt the shoulders towards the ground beneath you as you relax the upper arms and elbows. Soften the lower arms and wrists. Relax the backs of your hands, the palms. Allow the fingers to naturally curl inwards. Soften your chest, the rib cage, and the belly. Relax the upper back, the middle back, and the lower back. Soften your hips, the glutes, the pelvic area. And relax the upper legs and the ankles. Soften the knees and the lower legs. Relax your feet, softening the tops, the bottoms, and allow every toe to get a little bit lighter. Notice if you're holding on anywhere else in your body. Completely relax your body down towards the ground beneath you, just letting go. And begin to relax your mind as though it's a muscle itself. So soften the mind, relax it, let it melt and fade away. For the next couple of moments, allow yourself to simply be in this relaxed state. Allowing yourself to drift away, flowing with the wave-like nature of the breath and the body of here and now. Letting everything just be perfect as it is. Feel free to stay in this resting posture as long as you'd like. Whenever you feel ready, gently begin to invite the awareness back in towards your body. Maybe you simply deepen the breath or add subtle wiggles to the toes, the fingers, the wrists and ankles. Whenever you feel ready to move the body, gently roll over to either side and pause there to rest in a fetal position, taking all the time that you need. Eventually make your way all the way up to seated, keeping the eyes softly closed as you move. Take your time. We'll eventually meet up in a seated posture with the eyes drawn closed and the palms touching at heart center. Take a couple of moments to consciously observe how you feel. Draw your awareness to your mind, to your headspace. Observe, notice how it feels. What word describes the state of your mind right now? Gently scan your body, notice how it feels. What's the first word that comes to you to describe the state of your body? And eventually tune into your emotional well-being. What emotion do you feel in this moment? And gently give yourself a big smile and truly, truly thank yourself for showing up this evening, for dedicating your time to your health, to your life, and to your practice. And thank you so very much for sharing your beautiful energy with me and everybody else that joined in here this evening. The light in me truly honors the light in you. Namaste.